Hello everyone, nice to see you. Just gonna wait until everybody comes in. Grab a seat, come on in, make yourself comfortable. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, how are you? Hello, 1964 Flyers. Did you change your name because I was bugging you about being a Ford? Good evening. I did have a good day. How are you doing? Did you have a good day? So, just waiting for some people to come in, letting the room fill up. So, I've got a treat for you guys tonight. If you guys haven't listened to this afternoon's live, yeah, I learned a thing or two about that live today. I walked away, and I just want to talk about it because I'm stoked. I'm on fire. I'm just like, mic drop. This is just, for me, our lives that we've been doing lately have just been propelling me on this learning curve, and just the information and knowledge. It's like, I'm feeling so blessed, and I'm just so blessed that you guys could join in with me and partake in all of this lovely knowledge and understanding here on YouTube. Thank God for YouTube. And yeah, it's just been an amazing ride, and I'm just thankful for you guys. Yeah, you did change it. I remember it was 1964 Ford. Do you own a Ford? Maybe that's too much of a personal question. So we have a few people in chat tonight. So welcome, thank you. Welcome to the room. Welcome to Positively Spiritual. And enjoy, sit down, get comfy, grab some coffee, tea, because it's going to be a while. We usually spend about an hour or two on these lives. And so if you've got the time, we'd love to have you hang with us. So welcome everyone. Welcome. It's nice to see you. You are watching Positively Spiritual. This is your place to be, to become the change that you want to see in you and in the world. On this channel, we dive deep into the heart of your healing from trauma by giving you information that you can use right away, as your healing can begin right away. It's up to you. Hi, Julia. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you, 1964 Flyers. It's nice to see all who are in the chat in this video call today. Thank you and welcome, because you guys are in for a treat. Because here on this channel, this is not just my channel, this is our channel. We make it what it is. We are here to come together and find family and unity and help and healing and hope and restoration. And that's what, it's my aim and my goal and my hope and my desire, that this is what you find on this channel. You find a sense of peace and a sense of calm and encouragement, and you discover the encouragement and the tenacity, the perseverance to help you take another step, that one more step to reach your goal. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And some of us have done it, some of us are still doing it, and some of us on this channel are looking for help and guidance. So please be mindful of the audience, that we're all in different spots, but we're going in the same direction. We're all trying to figure this out. Some of us are flying by the seat of our pants here. So just be mindful of your audience and be mindful of who's in the room. So I ask that we just keep our questions, comments, and suggestions respectful. So there's no stupid questions. So please don't feel shy and feel like you're asking, maybe this question doesn't mean much, but I'm going to ask it anyways. No, speak your piece, be bold, be confident, and we will do our best here to answer your question. So knowledge is power, my friend. And when you open yourself up to learning and knowledge and submit to that process of healing, the knowledge that you gain does propel you through the darkness. It's not about the steps that you take, like with losing a narcissist, you're going to go through the five steps of grieving. That's just what it is. But it's not about going through the 5 steps of grieving. It's about taking the knowledge and the understanding with you during those 5 steps of grieving that will enable you to heal. So here on this channel, we give you no stone unturned. We try to do our best, and we allow Jesus to come in and give us the answers as we share knowledge that we have learned. And sometimes we learn knowledge right here on this channel on live, where we get an aha moment. And that's what I want to share with you today. I had an aha moment as I was discussing our last live, the live before this one. We're usually here at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and this is just the after show, the talking it out after hours of the live from the afternoon. This is what you guys are coming to, is the 10 o'clock p.m. after show of just trying to come together with our insights and thinking about what we learned from the live previous, and we just come together and we share. Hello, Lisa, it's nice to see you. Welcome. So earlier on today, we talked about how the narcissist triggers us. And as much as we want to blame the narcissist for that triggering, just a sec, can I grab my sweater? I'm a little bit chilly. Hang on a sec. I'm still here. Oh. Still here. Hi, sorry about that. So as much as we want to blame the narcissist, I have my old comfy sweater, and it's my comfort. So as much as we want to blame the narcissist, we have to take a look at ourselves. We have to really understand why we become triggered. It isn't so much that the narcissist creates that trigger, it's that there's already some sort of feeling inside of us where the narcissist pushes the button. Hi, Joe, nice to see you. Welcome. It's okay if you missed. We're doing a recap here. Hi, Tanya, nice to see you. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. You guys, some of you guys are new. Welcome. It's good to see you all. And I'm glad you could show up, Joe. It's nice to see you. So just recapping from earlier today, I wanted to approach our triggering from a different perspective. Instead of blaming the narcissist, yeah, they provoke us, but it's us who gives ourselves permission to allow that trigger to come out. And the reason why we trigger, the reason why we allow ourselves to become controlled by this triggering, by our emotions, is because there's some fear inside of us already that says, no, you will not control me. And this is something that God shared with me personally, because I was triggered one day and I walked away from that trigger as I, raged, and I just like, ugh. And I, kind of bared my teeth back. And this person thought I was such an agreeable person, but now I'm gritting my teeth and gnashing my teeth at them and just like, ugh. And they're like, whoa, you're crazy. What's gotten into you? And I was triggered, and it's like, I was fine until you triggered me. But then I walked away and I'm just like, no, I'm responsible for what I said and did in that. I'm responsible for showing my feelings. And God, why did I do that? Like, I don't feel good about myself at all. It's like I was feeling guilty. And God told me, it's because you're fearing that person is going to control you and manipulate you again because you don't trust them. And really, ultimately, it was because I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust my own strength within me. I didn't trust my knowledge about narcissism to really stand against and say, no, you're not going to control me. By allowing myself to show my emotion, that is when I gave my emotion over to the narcissist and said, here, you're responsible for this. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I'm coming undone. I'm coming unglued because of you. Like I'm just like freaking out in front of them. So Joe says, if it's not in you, they can't trigger it. Exactly. And it's because we attach ourselves to our emotions. Our emotions become a part of us. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, because walking away from today's live, I had an aha moment. And what this aha moment was all about is we sidelined the conversation, but it was relevant. And we were talking about parents and children. And we were talking about how from a child perspective, I don't know how I got on it, but I was talking about how parents are told that, like it can be difficult to potty train your child. And that's because the things that are left behind, the things that are excreted from the body, the child is unaware, but the child believes that excrement, the feces, and number one and number two are, I don't like talking about it, but number one and number two are an extension of the individual, are an extension of the child. So when you have a child and they're playing toys with another child and that child steals that toy and that child cries, it isn't because the other child is taking away the fun. It's because that toy that child is playing with and is now taken away, that child associates that toy as an extension of themselves because of the way that that toy makes them feel. And how I got onto the subject was because it has everything to do with emotions, where the narcissist triggers us because we are attached to our emotions and we don't recognize it. The negative or unwanted emotions belong to the ego. As today we talked about being present in the moment, as in yesterday's live, we talked about presence and being in the moment. And the narcissist cannot hurt you if you're present in the moment, because when you're present in the moment, you're not taking your feelings with you. You're not taking the past with you. You're not taking the anxiety of the future thoughts with you. You're just in this moment in a state of rest. And so when we are like, we have this trauma, this unspoken, unknown trauma that happens, and it comes from childhood. And many people assume that the narcissism is a trauma-based response. It is to a point. And where it's a trauma-based response and where we all feel this trauma from our parents is when our parents take something away from us. When this is my aha moment as I was explaining the live to my daughter, and I was sharing with her, that I remembered she had a blanket, like a security blanket. Now parents call it a security blanket or a security stuffy, a stuffed animal. We as parents think, oh, it comforts them, it makes them feel safe and secure. But what if that isn't really the reason why a child has a security blanket or carries around a stuffed animal with them, and they have to have their binky, their little soother with them, and they have a favorite toy that they have to carry around all the time. It's not to keep them or make them feel secure. It's to bring out the feel-good feelings in them. It's when, see, a child, okay, when you're a toddler, just indulge me for a minute because we're going to go deep into this. A toddler gets their, we're all born with feelings, good emotions, bad emotions, negative emotions, positive emotions, but it takes an outside source to bring those out in us, right? So our parents are usually the people who brought out the positive emotions in us, right? And the negative ones too. When we felt neglected, when we soiled our diapers, when we were hungry, when we were cold, we cried in negativity. And our parents catered to that negativity and soothed us in order to bring out positive emotions and satisfaction and feelings of safety, right? Okay, so just imagine you being an infant and you have this blanket or this toy, and your parents, you're driving, okay? You're driving and you're in your car seat and you have this little blanket or this little toy, and your parents are driving and you see your parents are there sitting in the seat, but they're not interacting with you. So there's no emotional exchange. Well, to regulate emotions, you as that child is hanging on to that blanket or hanging on to that toy, as that is what you associate a good feeling with. That makes you feel good, so therefore it must be you. That's how we associate our feelings and become attached, and that is how our identity is formed, by feel-good emotions or negative emotions. Science has proven that the subconscious holds the emotions that we gave way to in our youth, and that's where they rest. And now that we're adults, these emotions, the memory of these emotions are still intact, but we don't have conscious memory. But they're dominant in us, and they rule our lives without our. They're kind of like they're like our mommy and daddy. They regulate our comings and goings in the here and now, but they work these. The subconscious has these emotions from our childhood working in the background, away from our awareness, so we're not consciously aware and thinking. We just do things and react and just instantaneously give our emotions to some outside stimuli based on what we did in our childhood. So I kind of went out of the zone here of what I wanted to say exactly, but I hope you guys get the point that when we were talking about triggering today, we were talking about that there must be something inside of us that is not yet dealt with. And the narcissist just brings it out. And because we're not looking at ourselves yet, it's easy to blame the narcissist. It's easy to blame and say, you did this to me. You caused me to trigger. Well, yeah, they did, but that emotion still stays. It's still with you, regardless if the narcissist triggered you or not. The narcissist may have provoked you, but they are not the reason why those emotions are there. They're not the cause of those emotions. They just stimulate those emotions and bring them out of you. So that's why it's important to practice self-awareness. Because when you are self-aware and present in the moment, you remain in control of yourself. You remain in control of your emotions. But many of us are not in control of ourselves, and we think that the narcissist is in control of us, but really nobody is in control of you unless you give that person permission to control you. Because everything we do has a choice attached to it. Now, the reason why we trigger and we just, there it is. There's our emotion leaking out again and, being provoked, and the narcissist pushes our buttons and there we are raging and getting all mad and defensive. It seems like they're controlling us, but no, we're out of control because we are trying to control the situation from the outside of us. If we learn to control ourselves in here and in here first, then the narcissist cannot provoke us. And the reason why, if ever you're asked, why did you trigger? Why did you say that? Why did you do that? You're like, I don't know, I just did. And the ego wants to blame. Well, you made me do this. You made me say that. You made me throw that dish across the room because you made me so mad. No. That emotion was already there to begin with. You're just not mindful of it. And when we become mindfully aware of ourselves, of who we are, then we control ourselves. And we give ourselves permission to control ourselves. And we take away the responsibility of somebody else controlling us. See, we give up control of ourselves, hoping that somebody on the outside of us can do it better than what we're already doing it. Because we don't know ourselves, and we may be immature in some areas. We think that on a subconscious level, meeting somebody, establishing a friendship with them, a relationship with them, somehow they will make our lives better. But the truth is, only you can make your life better. Only you can give to you what you need, and you don't need to look on the outside of yourself. But the reason why we look on the outside of ourselves goes back to this childhood need of holding on to a blanket or a toy. Because we are not yet emotionally mature enough to self-actualize, as we are still emotionally bound to outside stimulus, and we internally take that in as, oh, a nice blanket? Well, this is nice. It evokes good feelings. And when the child has good feelings evoked, they internalize that, and those good feelings become an extension of them. It's not necessarily the item that is worth any value to them. It's that this item brings out an emotional state, that they associate this emotional state. Oh, this blankie makes me feel good. So therefore it's not just mine, it's me. It's an extension of me. And so when mommy and daddy take that blanket away, and the parent says, well, you're 9 years old now, you don't need a blankie anymore. Well, the child doesn't know why they have that blanket. It's just that blanket has always been with them. It's a part of them. It's a part of their life. See, as adults, we disassociate items. But as children, we don't. We still associate with, oh, this toy makes me feel happy. This toy makes me feel good. I like playing. That's why kids play with things, because it brings out their happy. It brings out their joy. Notice how adults don't play with things anymore? We're entertained, but we are not entertained by our feelings, by us allowing our feelings to come out. We don't regulate our feelings. We don't say, oh yeah, let me go and do some playtime to bring out my happy. No, let's go watch TV and let's just pass the time and be entertained that way and have somebody else evoke the feelings, whether they're negative or not. Let's just, it's attention getting. But for a child, having things in playtime is not attention getting. Attention getting is either the child wants to get their way, or they get the attention of their parents because they do not yet understand that when mommy looks at them wrongly, like when mommy gives a scally face, that child automatically looks at that mommy's scally face and automatically feels bad, because mommy is an extension of that baby, of that toddler, of that child. There's no distinction between mommy and daddy as being separate beings. It's like everything in the little toddler's life is an extension of them. In a toddler's life, their life is solely absorbed. They're a sponge and they're taking everything in, as their life is all about them. It's not about you, the parent. It's not about the siblings. It's not about, oh, how you took away your sister's toy. It's that toy is an extension of me. My sister is an extension of me. My mommy and daddy are an extension of me. A child cannot disassociate and become independent of their environment. That happens at about age 5 to 7. At age 5, the child starts growing independent of their parents, but until then, they need their blanket. They need that toy. And so those feelings that are associated with toys and situations, like when mommy gives a scowly face, that child thinks that that scowly face is directed at them, and that child doesn't know that mommy just got off the phone and was told by her employer, you have five more days and then, then we're going to let you go. You got your pink slip. We're giving you 5 days left of work. That child doesn't know. And so when mommy approaches the little baby with the scowly face, that little baby automatically reacts, automatically takes that in and mirrors the scowly face. What scowly face is to mommy, that child is invoked inside. Those negative feelings are invoked. And that child thinks mommy's mad, so therefore I'm mad, I'm bad, I'm sad, mommy's disappointed in me, so that mommy's disappointed in me. As I'm now disappointed, I'm the disappointment. The child associates their outside environment as being them. And so when we meet a narcissist, we're doing the same thing, but we don't realize it. We're looking to the narcissist and we let it go. We let their red flags go, and we just end up enabling and taking it and taking it and taking it, because that's what we did in our family home growing up. As we have not yet disassociated love as being something outside of ourselves, we are still trying to mature those feelings by allowing outside stimuli to be an extension of us. So when the narcissist is hurt, we are hurt. When the narcissist feels bad, we feel bad. When the narcissist is grumpy, we become grumpy. And we don't want them to feel grumpy because we think it's our fault that they're grumpy. So we do everything we can, and we do the tap dance, la 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 la, do the can. We do everything we can to try to appease and make the narcissist, aka mommy or daddy, happy. So we don't feel bad. So we don't feel like we are the embodiment of what they're projecting and feeling. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's what I wanted to talk about. Is I was sharing this with my daughter today, and I was reminded how she is in her 20s and she still has a blanket. Although this blanket has transitioned over the years, she's bought herself new blankets, and you know, she just likes big, fluffy, fuzzy blankets. They're a source of comfort for her. And I have never, ever, ever taken away her blanket. I made her a crocheted blanket when she was an infant, and she had that until it fell apart. So then I bought her a crocheted, fluffy, soft blanket. She had that until it fell apart. Then I got her a fluffy, fur-based one, and she had that until, you know, it became all scritchy and scratchy and rumpled and wrinkled, and, you know, it's like, I have never taken anything away from her in the way of something that brings her comfort. It's up to her to decide when she no longer wants it or needs it. And so in our live today, I realized God shared with me this association, the association we have to things. And I was reminded of me being a foster child, and I had a toy. It was from the 80s, and it was called Baby Walks a Lot, or Baby Crawls a Lot. And it was a plastic doll, and it was mechanical, and at the waist, the baby was on all fours, and it moved like this along the floor. And she had blonde hair and a ponytail, and she was really cute. And it was a gift given to me by my sister. And that was the only attachment that I had to my family. That's the only toy I had. That's the only thing I had that connected me to my birth family. And my foster sister got a hold of it. She had the same toy, but hers looked different. Mine was the cute one, hers was the ugly one. And so we could tell which toys were, you know, what toy belonged to who. And because she was calling me to her for some reason, and I was taking my time, and I said, just a minute. And she said, you come right now. And she held my toy hostage. She's like, you come to me right now, and if you don't, I'm dropping this down the stairs. And as I was running up to her, she dropped it, and it dropped down the landing, the 2 flights of stairs, and it broke. And that broke my heart. I'm still not over it. Like, there's some real deep attachment feelings, and going through this live today and speaking to you now, it's a realization is that toy allowed me to feel joy. It's like playing with that toy evoked the feelings of joy out inside of me, and I was able to feel joy. It's like whenever you're ignored, whenever you're silenced, whenever you're in silence, whenever your parents are not talking to you, it's like this blanket, this toy, this stuffed animal. You could just look at it, and there, you've got your feelings. You're happy. So you don't need your parents to bring you joy. All you need to do is look at this extension of you, and you're happy, and you become the state of being of happiness. And so my daughter and I were talking about this, how I never took that away from her. Like, she's always had her blanket, and I never understood, and I always thought it's what we were, as parents, were told, that, you know, having a blanket or a stuffed animal brings the child security. It's like a security blanket. It makes them feel safe. No, it's not. Maybe to some extent it is, but the other extent is it brings them, it's a source of joy for them. Because here's what's coming to me. Jesus is our joy. He says we can do all things in Christ Jesus, who is our strength. I'm paraphrasing. But the joy of the the joy of the Lord is our strength. So we can do all things in Jesus, who is our joy, which joy is our strength. And God also says, let your joy be full. Let your joy be maximum. But here's the thing. Does a toddler or a little infant understand Jesus? Does a child understand himself or herself in self-actualization when they don't have the neurons and the brain aptitude to comprehend things outside of themselves? No, they associate things outside of themselves as being them, as being a portion or a part of them. And they have light inside of them, and to bring that light out, they hang on to what evokes that light, it evokes that joy, makes them happy. Because mommy and daddy are supposed to evoke that joy, but mommy and daddy can't be around us 24/7. So we have something that reminds us of mommy and daddy, who is an extension of us, and we have something that evokes that joy inside of us. And when we turn to narcissists, we're looking for that approval of our mommy and daddy to heal that wound, as mommy and daddy took themselves away from us too soon. They disassociated themselves from us when we were not yet mature enough to disassociate ourselves from them on our own. And so now we're going to, outside of ourselves, to look for mommy and daddy figures that help us to bring out in us that healthy feeling. And instead what happens is the narcissist brings out the feelings that we felt with mommy and daddy in our youth, and we again go back to what is normal, and we associate, because mommy and daddy gave us that scally face, therefore we must be the cause of that, and that means that we're bad. And so when the narcissist does something to us, we again internalize that and associate that we're bad, because we do not think. This is subconscious imprinting, but we associate the narcissist as being an extension of ourselves. And if they accept us, then we can accept ourselves, because they are the reason why we are worthy. Their acceptance of us makes us worthy. Their acceptance of us makes us feel whole and complete, just like our acceptance of our mommy and daddy makes us feel whole and complete. Does this make any sense to you guys? So, understanding this helps us to understand why it's important for us to put those negative feelings to rest. Because our ego, when our parents, gave us the scally face when we were young, that invoked the negative dormant feelings in us. And we associated those negative feelings with us, ourselves, and that's what formed the ego. Excuse me, sorry. We personalized mommy and daddy's scally face as we personalized it as they were an extension of us. So the ego is an extension of us. Our ego is us. And those negative feelings belong with the ego. And when you take your adult person, who you are now, and you take this understanding to look at those negative emotions of the past, you can put those emotions in the proper place. You can nurture yourself and say, you know what? I'm whole and complete without that blanket, without that toy, without that stuffed animal. I am whole and complete without those emotions, because those emotions do not define me. They are an extension of who I am, but they are not me. Because now that you are self-aware and you understand who the narcissist is, and you understand who you are, as you understand that you have light inside of you, that light is who you are. The light is Jesus, and you and Jesus are one. You're married to Jesus whether you want to believe that or not, because life is in the blood. The breath of life that God breathed, the breath of life into Adam's nostrils, and Adam became a live, human, coherent, thinking being. Well, this life, this breath of life is in you. And you can't get rid of it. Well, you can if you really want to, but you have to abandon empathy. You have to abandon your humanity in order to do that. And we see that's what the narcissist has done. They have abandoned the light inside of them. And they have become those feelings of the past, of that childlike attitude and nature. So just think about this. The narcissist was raised the same way we were, but they're a stunted child in an adult body. They have not, just as we haven't matured, they haven't matured. And they will not mature. We can. So their maturity or immaturity is solidified. It's permanent. And they identify themselves. That's why everybody is an extension of them. And they objectify us. Well, it seems like they objectify us. But they're trying to manipulate us in order to manipulate their feelings. Because what is going on, this is an aha moment. Thank you, Jesus. This is new to me. This is psychology right here from a spiritual lens. This is what we're all about here on Positively Spiritual. Thank you, Lord. So what's really happening with the narcissist, we think they're control, 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 when really what is happening is we are seeing what has happened to all of us in our infancy, in our childhood, but now the narcissist is a grown-ass adult, pardon my language, but they're a grown adult, but we're seeing what happens that we couldn't see when, from the childlike lens that we lived, we couldn't see what was going on back then. But through the narcissist, we can see exactly what was going on in our childhood home. Mommy and daddy gave the narcissist a scowly face. The narcissist, like us, associated that scowly face with, it's me. Now I feel bad, and we mirror the parent's scowly face, and we take that to heart, and we feel bad. And when we feel bad as children, we become bad. We, not necessarily that we act out badness or anything like that, but we feel like that is us, as our parents are an extension of us. Well, the narcissist, they don't want to be told that they are bad because they already feel bad, because they believe and know that they are bad. They have adopted those feelings. They have married themselves to those feelings permanently. They have married themselves to their ego permanently. See, Unconditional love has no ego. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. Love is patient. Love is kind. It is not rude. It does not boast. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. That is why Jesus was able to walk this earth and not respond to evil people. We're not supposed to respond and pay evil with evil. We don't respond to the ego with the ego. But that's what the narcissist does. And the narcissist is using us as an extension of mommy and daddy and punishing us for the way they felt they were treated. The narcissist doesn't like rules, right? Well, the rules made them feel bad. And maybe the narcissist too had a mommy who gave them a scowl because, you know, their mommy just got off the phone and was told by her employer, yeah, I'm giving you your pink slip. You have 5 more days of work, and then after that, you're out of work. Thanks for your service. Bye. And so she comes to the baby narcissist, and she's all scared and upset. No, what do I do? And she gives her baby a scowly face, not intending to, not meaning to, but her little child takes that in and embodies it as an extension of who he or she is. And that forms a belief. Makes sense. So it is important to heal from these negative, unwanted feelings. And you don't have to jump through hoops. It doesn't take you 20 years, 10, 5 years of therapy. It really doesn't. It's easy. It's easy to heal from these unwanted negative emotions through understanding. I've given you knowledge. Knowledge is power. And you become empowered when you put that knowledge into practice by understanding this knowledge. If you don't understand this, then watch this video over again on the recording. Take notes from it. Download it if you need to. Dissect it. Journal, take notes. Share with me if you want your notes. Ask me questions, and let's do this together. Understanding comes from knowledge. And knowledge empowers you to go the distance, to begin your healing journey immediately. But you've got to put that knowledge into action. And how you do that is to understand where your emotions, where your negative, unwanted feelings are coming from. They are an extension of you, but you are in control of them now. You weren't in your youth, but you are now. So now it's time to detach yourself from them. And how you detach yourself is to engage a breathing practice by breathing slowly. In for the count of 4, out for the count of 4. And you listen to the sound of your breath. Listening to binaural beats also helps to still the mind and calm the mind, because what you're doing is disengaging your mind from your heart. You're detaching and taking those feelings out of your heart and putting them where they belong, in your logical centers, in your ego. Your ego has no room in your heart, as your heart belongs to the light, the source of unconditional love. And the ego tries to judge that unconditional love by saying, no, you weren't born good, you were born bad. No, we're all born good. We're all born with an innocence and a blank slate. We are born good because we are born or created from God. And we are born with that light inside of us. And how we tap into that light is to ground ourselves in breathing, by disengaging our mind, by focusing on the breath. The breath is filtered through our bloodstream. Our blood is filtered through our lungs and our heart. Our heart naturally has neurons. Our heart is a thinking organ. Go to heartmath.org and you will find this. Your heart thinks and leads you into the areas of your life where you should go. If you love this video, please give it a like. If you like this channel or if you like this video, give this channel a subscription, subscribe to it, as you're going to want to visit older videos. And stay tuned and visit us each day at 1:00 p.m. in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. And sometimes we're here nightly too. We've been here regularly at 10 o'clock the last 3 nights in a row. So, for sure, 1:00 in the afternoon, and sometimes we're here at 10. So hit that subscribe button and be notified when a video comes to knocking at your door. So understand that you can disengage, and you don't have to take a master class. You don't have to engage in a coaching course. And I'm saying this, and I've got coaching courses available. Go figure. However, I'm sharing this knowledge with you because it's important, because you matter, and your feelings do not define you. You can disengage from your feelings by getting present with the here and now. Humanity is regulated by a sense of time of past, present, and future. And our concern in healing and in moving forward in a way that is free from, sorry, my hair's tickling at me, free from pain of the past, is to stand in this moment of time of now. And how you stay present in the moment of now is to regulate your breathing. Be aware of your body. Be present in your body. And how you do that is pay attention to your awareness when you're washing dishes. Feel the water over your hands. And really take in the action and the feeling of cleaning off your dishes and rinsing them under warm water. Really take in the sensations of your moment of now. That is anchoring. That anchors you away from feelings of the pains of the past. Ask yourself, when you're doing dishes, just take a moment and ask yourself, if you're present, looking at the water, hearing the water, and taking note of what the bubbles look like and the soap suds, and feeling the floor under your feet, and you're concentrating on the presence of here and now, are you focused on the feelings of the past? No, this is what detachment looks like, my friends. This is detachment right here, detachment 101. When you are not focused at any time, when you are not focused on the feelings of the past, you're detached from them. It's when you are triggered and you allow those feelings to well up inside of you, you are attached to those feelings and you allow yourself to be ruled by those feelings, so those feelings can be expressed, because your ego wants to feel validated and vindicated of, notice me. Don't I matter? I'm the little toddler who was ignored and had my binky taken away and had my stuffy taken away. The things that made me happy were taken away from me. Mommy and Daddy were mean to me. I'm not trying to invalidate your feelings, my friends. I'm really not. I share with you my own pain, my own childhood losses. But I'm not in that space anymore. I can talk about my childhood without feelings attached because I am detached. I'm not that person. I'm not that little girl. And I had to allow that little girl to heal. And how you let that little human inside of you, that little spiritual human, boy or girl who's attached to the past, you start nurturing that person in the here and now by doing things that make you happy, by doing things that evoke joy, by understanding that you didn't need your mommy and daddy, you didn't need those toys to make you happy. You already were happy, but those things brought out your happy because you were not yet self-aware of who you are, and who you are is light. You are married to Jesus who is in you, and Jesus is your joy. And all you need to do, if you're feeling upset, smile. It can be forced, because science has proven that 2 to 5 minutes after you smile, and 2 to 5 minutes while you remain smiling, I should say, your insides follow. Your psychology follows your physiology. It's your body that rules you. When you remain present in your body, you remain present in the past. But if you just allow yourself to desensitize and become unaware of your body, and you get involved in your thoughts are attached to the past or the future. They're not focused on the here and now. It's impossible to do a task in the here and now. And I'm going to take a sip of tea, and I'm thinking about taking a sip of tea. It's impossible to think about the past while thinking about the here and now. It's impossible, because that's the beauty of opposites. You can't open a door while closing it. You can't sit down and stand up at the same time. I can't talk and be silent at the same time. You have to participate in one or the other. Participate in your feelings, the negative feelings of the past, or participate in the feelings of the here and now, which are rooted in joy through Jesus. Are you not feeling comforted and calm and peaceful when you allow the water to rush over your hands when you wash dishes? You're in a peaceful state in the here and now. But it's your ego that fights your self-awareness, because your ego doesn't want to be put in that state of dormancy, or what the Bible calls the abyss. See, that's what happens. I'm sitting right now, so the concept of standing is still relevant. It's still real. It just hasn't manifested in my life yet. So where it is somewhere in the abyss, some place unknown. But it's not far, because it's available with just a decision, a choice made, and I stand up and I'm no longer sitting. When I stand up, that concept of standing comes out from the abyss and manifests. And now sitting, the concept of sitting still exists, but it's not apparent. It's not present with me in my here and now. But it exists somewhere. I don't know where. Your feelings are the same way. They exist somewhere, but you don't know where. They go into a state of dormancy when you are present and close and personal and make the here and now relevant. When you make the here and now relevant, those feelings become irrelevant. And that doesn't mean that they're invalidated. It just means that they're not needed. They're not regarded as being the master and commander of your life. You are in control of your life. And that's the whole point of today's message. In this message and in this afternoon's live. We think the narcissist is in control because we say, oh, they triggered me. They're responsible. They did this on purpose. Well, maybe they did trigger you on purpose. But if those negative feelings were not there in the first place, like Joe said, they can't trigger you. They can try, and then you can say, what are you doing? You're acting weird. Wouldn't that be something? To go up to the narcissist and say, what the heck are you doing, man? You're acting weird. Are you okay? I want to try that now. The narcissist cannot trigger you if you have control of your feelings. And to gain control of your feelings is to understand through knowledge of why those feelings came about, how they came about, and why they're still here, why they still matter. It's you give them relevance. And still we're saying, yes, this happened to me. Somebody validate me. I gotta tell my story to feel validated. And I'm guilty of it too. I've been telling my story for 6 years now. Well, no, I've been telling my story ever since I was 8 years old. As kids at school asked me about me because I was in a foster home and I looked so different than my sister as we attended the same school, and my friends were like, what's the deal? You look so different. And I'd be like, I'm a foster kid. So they started asking me questions. So yeah, I've been telling my story since forever. But I'm not telling it with feelings attached. There's no feelings attached. I've outgrown the need to feel validated because I know who I am. I am valid and you are valid. We were somebody before those feelings became apparent and came out of us. We were relevant in the womb. Did we express feelings in the womb? Not to my knowledge, because there was no stimulus. So we were relevant. We always have been relevant. Our negative feelings invalidate us. They invalidate us by their need to feel validated. Our feelings invalidate us because the ego needs to feel validated. And psychologists say, you got to give yourself a break and you got to forgive yourself because those feelings are unwanted feelings. They're not negative. Yeah, they are. They're negative. According to God, they're negative because God is joy. Sadness is negative. Depression is negative. Anger is negative. God says, don't sin in your anger. So control your anger. Understand why you're angry and control it by understanding the situation. Because the reason most oftentimes we become angry is because we are fighting someone else's ego that causes resentment in our own ego. Ego is from judgment. Negative feelings are full of judgment and punishment. That's what fear is. And that's where negative feelings are formed. And psychologists say, those feelings helped you to survive. Survive what? I believed that first, and then, for a time, and then I started thinking about it. Negative feelings don't help us survive. They are a response. And we respond with negative feelings. We respond to negative situations with negative feelings. Like attracts like. And there was no solution because there was no opposite. There was no solution that had us hang on to positive feelings. So we fueled these negative feelings as a sense of identity. And now that we are mature, now that we are consciously aware, now that we're self-actualized, we've become self-actualized at 7 years old. So now that we're self-actualized, we can say, hey, I was hurt. I was wronged. Someone in their bad behavior wronged me. It wasn't just the emotion that they made me feel. It was they put bad behavior on me that caused me to feel this way. And now we want to feel vindicated for feeling that way. We want to feel justified, as we need the excuse now to feel those feelings. The reason why I felt anger, the reason why I felt resentment, the reason why I felt hurt and betrayed is because of this and this and this and this and this and this. Hanging on to validation gives us permission to continue in these feelings, because our lives right now, there's no valid reason to hang on to anger. Is somebody causing you anger right now? Is somebody causing you resentment right now? Is somebody causing you to feel sad and rejected, abused, afraid right now in this moment of now? I'm not talking about if you're dealing with a narcissistic relationship, a husband or wife who's nagging at you and who is physically harmful or emotionally verbal abusive to you. I'm talking about you who are listening to me right now in this moment. Chances are your significant other, your kids, whoever you're with in that house, in your car, wherever you're watching this video from, chances are you are able to separate yourself from family, from friends, and you are somewhere sitting alone watching me right now. In this space of right now, you're not being hurt. You're not being yelled at. You're not being forced to do something you don't want to do. You are not thinking about the past. There is nothing in this moment of now that you need. You are satisfied. And that's what you hang on to in order to dissipate those feelings of the past. Because it's in these moments of now that invalidate those moments of the past. And so to stay alive, your ego says, no, don't think about this moment. This moment, no, you don't want to think about this moment. You want to think about the moments that really matter. Those moments that, you were vulnerable and innocent. And you were naive, possibly, and little and young, and you didn't know any better, and somebody took advantage of you. Let's focus on that. Because when you keep those feelings alive, you constantly validate the ego, and the ego is rooted in flesh. And when you're rooted in flesh, this is where the addictions come in. Smoking, alcohol, drug addiction, sex, gambling, shopping. You're trying to appease those negative, unwanted feelings. You're trying to right the wrong, and you can never right that wrong. The only way you right that wrong is to stand in the present and remain in the present, because that's where forgiveness is. Because those wrongs that were done to you were already forgiven. And they weren't forgiven by you. This is just coming to me now. Thank you, Jesus. You know who they were forgiven by? Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, on the cross. He didn't just forgive your sins. He forgave everybody's sins, past, present, and future, including the people who hurt you. He forgave them. But it was up to them to seek that forgiveness out by living a repentant lifestyle. And you'll never know that, because that person who hurt you in your past is probably not in your life. Or if they still are, you don't know their personal intent. Only God knows the motives of the heart. And forgiving them does mean letting it go, so that you can live the life that you were meant to live. Because you are in control of your life now. You weren't in control of your life when that pain happened to you, but you're in control of your life now. God already forgave them. God gave them the same opportunity for salvation that He's given you. You're taking it by learning to let go of the past, by learning to stop judging yourself and stop judging others, and learning to use what the narcissist does against you. You turn it around to reveal to yourself how you yourself have become a narcissist to yourself and to God, and you have ignored Him and ignored yourself. Once you start living in the now, the moment of here and now, nothing else really matters. It's irrelevant. Because the here and now is eternal. So I hope this makes sense to you. And wow, I've learned something new again. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for showing up and being with us and guiding us. If you guys want extra help, if you guys want understanding, and you guys just want something to read that, maybe this is a little bit heavy for you, and you have to work at your healing your own pace. You will get there. I promise you, you will get there. And if you guys need help, you can head on over to my Ko-Fi channel. That's my internet library where I have personally written courses and ebooks, and there's membership tiers. It's available for you. Some of it is free, some of it isn't. And I charge just because, you want healing, you gotta invest in yourself. And, using money, just kind of, I spent $20 on that course. I better take it. I better do it. I have an Udemy course that I took down on Udemy because I was charging like $50 for it, and people were paying for it. It was like very popular, but people would not finish the course. That's not why I'm not here to get your money. I need money, yes, to thrive and pay my bills, but I put out this content to help you learn and grow, and you've got to invest in yourself. Nobody can just snap and poof, there it's gone. There are lessons to be learned in your journey of healing. Take the opportunity to learn those lessons, because those lessons direct your attention back onto you, because you are your best friend. You are the love of your life that you have always been looking for. And when you find yourself, you'll find Jesus Christ, I promise you. So thank you for watching. And I encourage you to just go easy on yourself. Give yourself a break. Learn to forgive yourself. You did the best that you could with the emotions that you had, with the tools that you had. You were a little kid, for goodness sakes. You were naive when that tragedy happened. Even if you're an adult and something bad happened to you 6 months ago, you know more about yourself than what you did then. It's time to forgive yourself and forgive the people. And how you do that, how you lend yourself to forgive other people, is to heal yourself. Allow yourself to heal. Jesus died for you. Jesus loves you. Jesus is in here. And you walk in this moment of now, I guarantee you will feel him and see him. Explore his word. And if we don't see you tomorrow afternoon at 1, I look forward to seeing you at Sunday for our Bible study at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for showing up and joining in. I appreciate your time. As I love you, you are my brothers and sisters, and I just am so thankful for you. So God bless you, and good night. Bye-bye.